All right, everybody, listen. Time to start talking about things that have been going on just lately around the country, of course, but Plymouth mainly because that's where we are. Now, to everybody out there who knows me, you've already had a conversation with me about this, but I want you to share it and I want you to talk to your friends about it. I also want you to come on camera, do a few lives with me, and have a real conversation about this because, as we all know, last week we've seen a bit of, well, a bit of theatre, a bit of street theatre downtown, and this is going on around the country. We know what it is. It's no coincidence. This is the first month of a Keir Starmer government, and what we're seeing is we're seeing a setup. We've seen it coming for a few years. We were talking about this 2 or 3 years ago when it became obvious we'd have a Labour government, what that Labour government's agenda was, and we started getting called far right. We started getting called extremists, fascists, racists, and all of these things. Now, I've been living in Plymouth a lot of the time, a lot of my life. I've spent about 15, 20 years away, various places, and the rest of the time here. So we're talking a good 28, 30 years now. I've seen the place go from really provincial, almost entirely white, to I don't know, about 10, 15% foreign. And I welcome it because I'm a world traveler myself. I've lived in foreign countries for about 15 years of my time. Um, Always enjoyed it. Always felt welcome. And I'm keen to extend that same welcome home, home here. I'm really pleased about the place being extremely cosmopolitan these days. And when I go out and I see kids of different color, being friends, going out, hanging out together, when I see couples, when I see families, I'm really pleased about it. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these people who think that our country's being invaded. I'm not one of these people who think that we're in any danger from allowing people to come in and settle, or one of these people who really see a great division. I see integration. I see just more people in the melting pot and everything being great. But I'm not saying that this isn't being used as political football, and I'm not saying that the policy of immigration isn't there to upset things, you know. So I'm kind of tied really between maybe my old friends and my new friends. I'm talking about the people who objected to COVID, who objected to the lockdowns, who questioned the narrative. Now, I've been working hard with these guys for 4 years now, and I've gotten to know them. I've had plenty of debates, and I've stated the case that I'm stating now to them with mixed receptions. But what I'm trying to say is, what I've always done is try to align our kind of thinking with the rest, because uh, I wasn't always knocking around with ex-veterans, Christians, conservatives, these types of people. I was always opposed to them. Going back to the days when I was a college student, going back to the days when I was a heavy metal fan, going back to the days when I was out and hanging around in, you know, Kent Town, Brighton, and places. You know, I've always been, uh, fight the war, fuck the norm. So it's been a surprise to me to see the type of people that showed up when the COVID protests started, and a further surprise to find that we didn't get support from those people who traditionally were opposed to the government. You know, so this divide and rule thing is something that I found quite obvious. And what I want to say to everybody is, avoid the trap. You know, don't fall for it. And that's across the board, not just the freedom movement, but everybody who's listening to the propaganda and thinking that we are what they're saying. Now, as you all know, the events in Plymouth last week, and well, by extension, we can assume around the country, were all fake. I've got friends who went to the protest, the so-called protest, to check them out, find out who was there. They didn't know anybody. They're not Plymouthian. They're not part of our movement. They haven't been coming in for 4 years, fighting the lies and the oppression. They are not those guys. They're total strangers. No one knows who they are. No one has anything to do with them, and that's the first thing to make clear. So what I really need you to do is share the video, arrange a time to come and talk to me, make a video of your own. Let's just get a few conference calls together. Let's sit around a table and have a chat with this and straight, because we can't allow This type of propaganda, this blatant lie, to get anywhere. We can't allow it to fund what to fuel what Keir Starmer wants to do, what the Labour Party want to do, what the globalists want to do, because we know their agenda, we know what's coming next. You can even read it in their policy documents. And it's time we sat down, we made a little plan for this administration, saw the road ahead, let everybody know what's coming, and start calling it every single move they make. Let's be ready to counter because we already know their playbook. So let's just destroy all the myths and let's start making friends with the people who are about to be betrayed. Because this is what really happened. The reason conservatives showed up when, or conservatives were the biggest group represented when the COVID crisis happened, was because those were the insiders. Those were the guys who should have had a little bit of faith in the government and realised they were being betrayed. Now, the same's about to happen to the Labour movement. They've had 15 years out in the wilderness. Now they think things are going to start going the way they should. And they're pretty soon going to find out that that's not the case. I'm old enough to have lived through the last Labour government. I know what's coming. I know what I'm talking about. That was a betrayal when we walked into Iraq and Afghanistan after 9/11. You know, it's all going to be a setup. There's going to be black swans, false flags all over the place, and they're going to get what they want. And we know what they want, and none of it's good. All right. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully, we'll get a few more people on the line soon and we can have a good chat about this. I'll speak to you later.